Hello and welcome to all. From the biggest joke ever to the incredible Zidane headbutt of Betty, the most irritable goat in the world. Here are the 10 moments when it goes wrong on TV, but really wrong. Let's start. When you are a career journalist with many years of experience behind you, you can easily overcome the vagaries of live broadcasting. Even when you make a really terrible blunder, as this German TV news anchor does. The journalist was supposed to send pictures of the Parliament of Athens, but as you can see, he obviously sent the wrong file. Instead of showing the Greek parliamentarians, the poor presenter posted pictures of pretty models in bikinis. Seeing the enormity of his gaffe, the journalist immediately tried to make up for it by choosing the right file this time. Unfortunately for him, there is still no hemicycle or Greek parliamentarians in sight, but rather another blonde pin-up with a lascivious posture that literally bursts the screen. The poor journalist is then plunged into an unbearable embarrassment, which makes him blush with shame and stammer some excuses without even daring to look at the camera. Finally, after a few seconds that seemed like years, the images of the report on the Greek parliament finally appeared on the screen, which made the presenter breathe a big sigh of relief. From 2016 to 2020, America has enjoyed a continuous and extraordinary show of presidential anecdotes and adventures, thanks to the incorrigible and inimitable Donald Trump. But it must be said that the entourage and close relatives of the former president had a reputation just as sulphurous, if not much more. The tumultuous relationship between his daughter Ivanka and his wife Melania is just one example of this presidential show that looks like The Simpsons. Just look at the look Melania gives to her daughter-in-law, and tell us in the comments if it is hatred, contempt, or disgust. There was a time when artists would set the stage and the audience on fire with their powerful vocal cords and musical talent alone. But nowadays, when you go to a concert, you have to make do with playback most of the time. And even though singers pretend to perform, it is unfortunately only a poor comedy that they deliver to their audience. Just look at Katy Perry's extreme embarrassment when she was caught red-handed in the middle of a concert. The sly little pop starlet was indeed playing the flute in one of her concerts during her tour in Australia. The singer was visibly handling this instrument like a virtuoso, which really aroused the enthusiasm and hysteria of her fans, delighted to witness such an artistic show. But the latter were quickly disillusioned when they realized the vile deception, while their idol would have liked the earth to swallow him at that moment. If you happen to be invited on a Belarusian TV set, you'd better keep your eyes open and be very careful where you put your feet. Look at this poor man who was invited to one of these socio-political talk shows. Arriving rather calmly and confidently on the set, our jolly fellow will even take the trouble to greet the public with a wave of the hand, like a star on the red carpet. But after having greeted the host, our poor guest, who had not noticed that he was standing at the edge of the stage, walked directly towards the void and ended up falling. It was literally as if the earth had swallowed him, but fortunately, despite this painful fall, the poor guest escaped unharmed. However, he will need to have a new pair of glasses made in order to avoid similar problems in the future. If you are reporting on road safety, it is better to fasten your seatbelt before turning on the camera. But if you make a report on the safety in hoverboard, the least would be obviously the wearing of a helmet and knee pads. Don't be like this young reporter, who left her most basic protective equipment behind, probably in order not to spoil her hair, or perhaps thinking that she wouldn't risk falling. Still, this poor journalist must have regretted not wearing a helmet, when she fell heavily on her back, both feet in the air. You've probably fallen out of your chair one of these days, trying to waddle around in it, imagining you're sitting in a comfortable rocking chair. You get up, of course, hoping that your fall did not attract attention and that nobody saw you fall like that. But if you are live in front of tens of millions of viewers, you can be sure that your little fall will not go unnoticed at all. Especially if you are a big celebrity, known for your austerity and charisma, like Ryan Seacrest. Watch this sequence where the star host will let go a little, trying to catch balloons thrown in the air by the production. With the festive spirit of the show overshadowing his legendary restraint, Ryan Seacrest will try to catch the balloons on the air, even though he is still sitting in his chair. What had to happen happened, and as you can see, the young actor will fall twice, first from his chair, then from the stage where it was mounted. It took the combined help of a control room technician and Seacrest's colleague and co-host of the show to finally get it back on track. Once up and about, as if trying to make this horribly awkward moment go away, the host will grab one of those pesky balloons while shouting victory. But it's no use, Ryan, because your video has already gone around the world and made millions of people laugh out loud. We have all been tricked once or twice by the traditional April Fool's Day, but most of us have not been fooled by it live on television, fortunately. Because you can imagine that it must be an extremely embarrassing moment to have to endure, while millions of spectators are watching you with attention. Instead, watch this hilarious sequence, where a journalist is the victim of a colossal April Fool's joke, so much so that she should be called a whale. While presenting their morning show, she and her colleague were invited to test an application for iPad, which allows its users to smell and taste dishes through the screen. But what this poor journalist didn't know was that her colleague was also in on it, and while she was literally sniffing the screen of her iPad, he was gloating to see his prank working perfectly. And as you can see, the poor journalist, transformed into a turkey for the occasion, even licked her camera, hoping to be able to taste the dish whose picture was displayed on her screen. Fortunately for her, ridicule does not kill. Dear viewers of this admirable channel, your dear and devoted friend, World Revealed, gives you an invaluable piece of advice on animal behavior: never enter a goat pen. And even if you are a journalist in the middle of a report on the field, it is better to film away from these devious beasts, because a blow of horn is never far away with them. Admire this sequence from a goat farm and you will understand why you should never joke with these horned animals. As you can see, poor reporter Linda Carson didn't have a chance to see Betty the goat's head butt coming at all. Extremely wounded against this big talkative and perfumed biped which caressed her spine, the furious Betty indeed charged this last one, striking her a powerful blow of head. Look at how poor Linda collapsed, following this shock that she did not expect at all. But it is necessary to believe that her ordeal was not finished yet, because hardly was she put upright, that the furious Betty assented to her another Zidane-style headbutt, narrowly missing to overturn her a second time. Have you ever burned through lunch or dinner trying to play Cordon Bleu or Star Chef? You may even have made a fool of yourself in front of your friends and family, even though you promised them a proper meal. But rest assured, you are not alone, and even the greatest cooks in the world can char their pots and set their kitchens on fire. And if you don't believe us, just take a look at this clip featuring the incorrigible and talented British chef Gordon Ramsay. This outstanding cook was the guest of the famous show, The Late Late Show with James Corden, and of course, he was asked to give the audience a little glimpse of his immense talent, by preparing a good English breakfast. As you can see, the cook, helped by his daughter, immediately set to work, but in an attempt to crisp up his bacon, Ramsay will remove it from his pan and put it directly on the electric burner. But Ramsay must have forgotten that a fatty substance releases a lot of smoke when it comes into contact with a heat source. Or maybe he just thought he was inside his kitchen, equipped with powerful smoke hoods and vacuum cleaners. Still, the English chef literally smoked the TV set, before apologizing and putting his bacon back in the pan. Very embarrassed by his idea, which was stupid, to say the least, and mocked by the host, Gordon Ramsay even confessed to having already burned a whole restaurant kitchen. A real arsonist, this Ramsay. In Hollywood, the best-kept secrets are open secrets, and actors and actresses are not exactly known for keeping their mouths shut when it comes to confidential information. Look at how information normally classified as top secret is so easily disclosed to the public, and this in a totally stupid way. Judge for yourself by watching this sequence featuring Tom Holland, the actor who plays Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe. The young actor was indeed broadcasting a live feed to his fans on Instagram when he got the idea to open a package from his friend Mark Ruffalo, who plays the big green giant Hulk in the franchise. The package actually included the Avengers: Infinity War poster, as well as the release date of the film, which was scheduled for May 4, 2018. Spider-Man and New Avengers recruit spontaneously shared the poster with his fans, before realizing that there was the message, "Confidential. Do not share," written in big letters on the back. Panicking as if he had all of Marvel's supervillains on his tail, Spider-Man immediately ended the live feed, cursing himself for being so stupid as to risk a lawsuit with Marvel for disclosing confidential data. One wonders where his spider sense is to this one. Laurie Thillman is a former Miss France who reconverted not without some success, in the animation of television programs. But as the saying goes, chase the natural, it comes back at a gallop. And instead of staying confined to her very simple role of TV host, the young woman decided to make the show to impress once again the gallery. Invited by Arthur on his flagship show, Vendredi tout est permis, Laurie wanted to demonstrate her talent in pole dancing, by performing a figure for the least acrobatic. However, as you can see, this was a bad idea, because the hostess no longer has the flexibility and freshness of her 18 years. And it is thus of a terrible and painful fall that she falls while wanting to impress the public, to the point where she was even going to break her neck. Terribly embarrassed by her fall and still overwhelmed by the pain, the former Miss France will not admit defeat. She will end up succeeding in the figure of the big V that she wanted so much to do, but not without having stored some cushions on the ground beforehand just so as not to hurt herself anymore. And that's it for today. Which of these 10 sequences, which are unusual and crazy, to say the least, impressed you the most? Tell us in the comments, and if you liked this video don't forget to give us a like and subscribe and activate the notifications. See you soon for new discoveries out of the ordinary.